Hello guys, welcome again to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today I am going to show you how I made this beautiful hydrating face and body cream with just 4 ingredients. If you are new to formulating, this is a great place to start, as you can use this recipe to create your own formula and gradually add butters, gums, stabilizers, vitamins, and active ingredients as you progress into the world of formulation. Here I have listed the ingredients used in preparing the cream: distilled water, oil, an emulsifier, and a preservative. The measurements are given in percentage. A total of 100% will give you 100 grams of cream. This cream contains a water phase and an oil phase. We start with the oil phase, and for this we need a glass beaker or a heat-resistant cup. I am using camellia oil. If you are going to use this cream on your face, make sure you choose an oil that will not clog pores. Some of the oils that do not clog pores are grapeseed oil, jojoba oil, squalane, sunflower oil, safflower oil, and sweet almond oil. Pour your oil into the beaker. As oil and water do not mix, we need an emulsifier to help bind the water and oil together so that the cream remains emulsified. I am using Emulsifying Wax NF. Emulsifying Wax NF provides excellent stability and is very easy to use. It can be used to make thick and light emulsions depending on the concentration used. An emulsifier is basically a type of stabilizer that helps to keep oil droplets dispersed in a watery ingredient like water. I add the emulsifier to the oil. The correct amount of emulsifier you use will depend on the amount of oils in the formulation. In this recipe, we added 28 grams of oil and 7 grams of emulsifying wax NF. This means that for every 4 grams of oil, we have 1 gram of emulsifying wax NF. If I want to formulate a body lotion, which is obviously less thick than a cream, the ratio of oil to emulsifying wax NF will be different. If you follow this recipe and decide to use a different emulsifying wax to the one used in this tutorial, please make sure you do your research to determine the ratio of oil to emulsifier you are using, as this will also influence the stability of your cream. We keep the beaker aside and move on to the next phase, which is the water phase. For the water phase, we also need a beaker or a heat-resistant cup. I pour the distilled water into the beaker. Please do not use tap water, bottled water, or mineral water, as these contain chemicals that can shorten the shelf life of your cream. The next step is to heat the water phase and the oil phase respectively to about 70 degrees Celsius using the double boil method. As you heat the water, the amount used may be reduced due to evaporation. Please make sure that you add back the water that has evaporated, otherwise your ingredient percentages will not be accurate. In my experience, about 10% of the water evaporates during heating. For this reason, when heating the oil and water phases, I also heat about 20 grams distilled water in a separate container. When the oil and water phases are ready, I quickly place the beaker containing the water on a scale to determine the amount of water that has evaporated. The quantity of water that I heated was 64 grams. As you can see, we have about 3.10 grams less water, which means that about 3.10 grams of water have evaporated. All I have to do is take 3.10 grams of the water that I heated in a separate beaker, which is still hot, and add to this to get the amount of water that I originally had, which is 64 grams. At this point, I immediately pour the hot water phase into the hot oil phase and mix with a hand whisk for about 20 seconds. Then I mix with a stick blender for about 1 minute for the mixture to homogenize. After mixing with a stick blender for 1 minute, I continue mixing with a hand whisk, taking a break every now and then until the mixture thickens. You need to be patient as it will take some few minutes before the mixture thickens. When the temperature has cooled down to around 40 degrees Celsius, I add in the preservative and continue mixing. We add the preservative during the cooling phase because it is a heat-sensitive ingredient and the benefit can be destroyed by heat. Adding a preservative to this formula is essential, not optional. Vitamin E, grapefruit extract, rosemary extract are antioxidants, not preservatives. If your cream is unpreserved, you can only store it for a maximum of 5 days in the fridge. The ideal preservative to use is a broad-spectrum preservative, which means it protects against bacteria, yeast, and mold. If your product contains water or will come into contact with water, a broad-spectrum preservative will be required. Depending on what the pH of your cream will be, make sure you choose a preservative that covers the desired pH range, as this will also affect the stability and performance of the cream. When the consistency becomes thick, we test the pH value of the cream. To test the pH value, add 2 grams of the cream to 8 grams of distilled water. Mix well, then dip your pH strip into the mixture for 10 seconds. Remove it and see where the pH value is at. As you can see, the pH value of this cream is 5, which is perfect. The pH balance plays an important role in the chemical composition of the human body. pH is a chemist's term meaning hydrogen potential, and it refers to the degree of acid or alkaline in the outer layers of our skin. It is measured on a scale from 0 to 14, with the middle of the scale being 7, which is neutral. A pH below 7 means that the substance being measured is acidic, and above 7 means that it is alkaline. We cannot talk about the pH of the skin without talking about the acid mantle. The acid mantle is the acidic film that protects the skin and acts as a protective barrier against bacteria, viruses, and other potential contaminants that may be able to penetrate the skin. This acid mantle is a mixture of the natural oils found in our skin and sweat. It is an essential part of the skin's protective function. The pH of the skin on the face and the body varies between 4.7 and 5.75. So if you apply something on your skin that has a different pH, it may affect your skin's pH and can lead to breakout and dry skin. Guys, see how smooth and beautiful the consistency is. I mix again for about 15 seconds with a stick blender. Then with a hand whisk. As we have only used 4 ingredients in this formula and no specific active ingredient has been added to it, it is important to choose the oil you wish to use carefully. I recommend you choose an oil that is an emollient, that has antioxidant properties, moisturizing properties, and can help prevent and smooth wrinkles and stretch marks. For this recipe, I used camellia oil, which has all the properties mentioned above. After mixing, you can put your cream in a clean sterilized container. The shelf life of a product is actually determined by a stability test. If you are planning to sell your product, you will need to perform a 3-month stability test, which is more accurate. However, to get an idea of the shelf life of your product, look up the shelf life of each ingredient you have used, and the ingredient that expires first will affect the shelf life of your product. Seal it and keep at room temperature away from direct sunlight. It can be used on the face and the body in the morning and in the evening. This is the consistency of the cream after 1 week. Thank you for watching the video. If you have enjoyed watching it, please do not forget to give it a like, leave a comment, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for the support. Bye bye and have a wonderful day.